Good morning, everyone. Let me start by asking you a simple question. How often do we underestimate the power of small habits? How often do we wait for a big life-changing moment, when in reality, transformation can happen in just 7 days if we make the right choices? Today, I want to share with you 3 habits that changed my life in just 1 week. Habits so simple, yet so powerful that they can shift your perspective, your energy, and your entire life. We often assume that transformation requires monumental effort or years of struggle, yet the reality is far simpler and far more empowering. Small habits, when practiced consistently, possess the extraordinary power to create ripple effects that can alter the entire trajectory of our lives. It is not the dramatic, once-in-a-lifetime events that define our growth, but the subtle, intentional actions we take every day. Imagine a tiny seed planted in fertile soil. On its own, it may appear insignificant, almost invisible, yet with time, attention, and nurturing, it grows into a tree capable of providing shade, fruit, and shelter. Our habits function in exactly the same way. A small positive action repeated consistently may seem inconsequential at first, yet it gradually reshapes our character, our mindset, and ultimately our reality. Consider the power of starting your day with something as simple as a few minutes of mindful breathing, jotting down 3 things you are grateful for, or even committing to a small task you have been postponing. Each of these actions, seemingly minor, carries the potential to shift your mental and emotional state. The mind responds to patterns. When you consistently choose actions that reinforce clarity, positivity, and focus, your brain begins to anticipate these states as the norm rather than the exception. Over the course of a week, you may notice subtle but profound differences. Greater energy, sharper focus, a lighter emotional load, and a heightened sense of purpose. This is the evidence that small, deliberate habits are not trivial. They are the building blocks of sustainable transformation. The beauty of small habits lies in their accessibility. Anyone, regardless of age, background, or current circumstances, can implement them immediately. There is no need for a special environment, extraordinary resources, or perfect timing. The moment you decide to take intentional action, you reclaim agency over your life. This empowerment is crucial because it challenges a common misconception that change is external, dependent on luck, opportunity, or dramatic circumstances. True transformation begins internally, with decisions that align your daily actions with the person you aspire to become. Even a single positive habit, practiced consistently, can cultivate momentum. One small action leads to another, creating a chain reaction that steadily propels you toward growth, fulfillment, and resilience. Moreover, small habits build a psychological advantage. When achievements are approachable and realistic, the mind experiences a sense of progress and accomplishment, reinforcing motivation. Large abstract goals can often feel intimidating, causing procrastination and self-doubt. By contrast, small habits are measurable, manageable, and immediately rewarding. They allow you to celebrate incremental victories, which accumulate into lasting confidence and self-efficacy. For instance, dedicating just 5 minutes a day to focused learning or reflection may seem modest. Yet within a week, you have cultivated a mental clarity and skill set that was absent before. Over months, these tiny efforts compound into mastery and self-mastery, quietly but powerfully shaping the life you live. Finally, small habits encourage adaptability and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances are rarely perfect. By anchoring yourself to simple, consistent actions, you create a stabilizing routine that can weather challenges. Habits are not about perfection. They are about commitment, repetition, and alignment with your values. Each day you choose to act intentionally, even in a minor way. You reinforce the belief that you are capable of change, capable of growth, and capable of designing the life you desire. This principle reveals a profound truth. Extraordinary transformations are rarely sudden. They are the sum of small, deliberate actions practiced consistently with patience, awareness, and dedication. Being fully present in the moment is one of the most powerful yet underutilized habits a person can cultivate. In today's fast-paced world, our attention is constantly fragmented. Notifications, emails, deadlines, and endless to-do lists pull us in multiple directions, leaving little room for genuine engagement with life as it unfolds. Yet, when we consciously choose to focus on the present, extraordinary shifts occur in both our mindset and our experiences. Mindful action is not simply about slowing down. It is about embracing intentionality in every task, every conversation, and every interaction. It transforms routine activities into opportunities for clarity, learning, and personal growth. The simple act of paying attention, of giving your full awareness to the now, allows you to step out of autopilot and reclaim control over your life. The practice of being present has immediate psychological benefits. When you engage fully in a task, you reduce mental clutter and stress, which are often products of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. This focus increases efficiency and quality of output because the mind is no longer split between multiple competing demands. For instance, when having a conversation with a friend, colleague, or family member, complete presence enables you to listen actively, respond thoughtfully, and cultivate deeper connections. These moments of genuine engagement create meaningful relationships, foster trust, and instill a sense of fulfillment that is impossible to achieve when attention is scattered. The power lies in the simplicity. You do not need extraordinary circumstances to experience profound impact. Just a conscious decision to immerse yourself in what you are doing. Being fully present also amplifies creativity and problem-solving abilities. The mind, when untethered from distractions and mental noise, is free to explore new ideas, recognize subtle patterns, and uncover solutions that would otherwise remain hidden. Everyday experiences, when approached with mindfulness, become a rich source of insight and inspiration. Even tasks that seem mundane, such as organizing your workspace or preparing a meal, take on a new significance when approached with awareness. This mindset trains the brain to extract value from every situation, fostering resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges. Over time, a consistent practice of mindful action strengthens the capacity to focus, improves emotional regulation, and nurtures a sense of inner calm, even amidst external chaos. The transformative impact of being present extends to self-awareness and personal growth. By observing your thoughts, emotions, and reactions in real time, you gain insight into behavioral patterns that may have previously gone unnoticed. This heightened self-awareness allows for intentional decision-making rather than reactive behavior. Small, conscious adjustments in daily routines, interactions, and responses accumulate over time, producing significant long-term benefits. For instance, recognizing moments of impatience or frustration as they arise enables you to choose responses aligned with your values, gradually shaping your character in ways that align with the person you aspire to be. Moreover, the habit of mindfulness strengthens emotional resilience. When fully engaged with the present moment, you are less likely to be overwhelmed by regret, anxiety, or fear. By anchoring yourself in what is happening right now, you create a sense of stability that can weather life's uncertainties. The mind becomes a tool of clarity rather than a source of distraction or distress. It is in these moments of presence that opportunities, insights, and joy naturally emerge, often unnoticed when attention is fragmented. The remarkable aspect of this habit is that it is accessible to anyone, at any time, in any circumstance. It does not require special equipment, finances, or environments. The moment you choose to focus fully on the task at hand, you reclaim control, amplify productivity, and enrich the quality of your experiences. Mindful action is not a fleeting practice. It is a lifestyle that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Each act of presence, repeated consistently, has the potential to create a ripple effect that profoundly reshapes how you perceive, respond, and interact with the world around you. Self-reflection is a habit that holds immense transformative power, yet it is often overlooked in the rush of daily life. In a world that prioritizes constant action and external achievement, taking deliberate time to pause and look inward can feel uncomfortable or even indulgent. However, it is through reflection that we develop clarity, gain perspective, and cultivate the wisdom necessary to navigate life with purpose. By examining our thoughts, actions, and experiences, we gain insight into patterns that either propel us forward or hold us back. And this awareness allows us to make conscious choices rather than repeating behaviors unconsciously. Even a few minutes of intentional reflection each day can serve as a mirror, revealing both our strengths and areas where growth is possible, turning ordinary experiences into opportunities for meaningful learning. The act of reflecting on one's day fosters accountability and personal responsibility. When we ask ourselves simple, probing questions such as, "What did I learn today?" or "How could I have approached this differently?" we engage in a practice that bridges the gap between intention and action. It allows us to evaluate the outcomes of our decisions without self-criticism or blame, fostering a mindset of constructive improvement rather than guilt or regret. This habit encourages continuous progress because every day becomes a chance to learn, adjust, and refine the way we engage with life. Over time, this consistent self-awareness sharpens judgment, strengthens emotional intelligence, and equips us with the tools to respond thoughtfully in complex situations rather than reacting impulsively. Self-reflection also cultivates emotional resilience. By examining our emotions and the triggers behind them, we gain the ability to process experiences with greater clarity and composure. It helps us recognize transient negative feelings, preventing them from dictating our decisions or clouding our perspective. When we consciously explore why we felt frustrated, anxious, or disappointed, we uncover opportunities to develop patience, empathy, and understanding, not just toward others, but toward ourselves. This process strengthens inner stability and allows us to navigate challenges with confidence, knowing that each difficulty contains a lesson and a chance for personal growth. In addition, reflection is a powerful tool for setting and aligning priorities. Life often pulls us in multiple directions simultaneously, making it easy to lose sight of what truly matters. By dedicating time to review our actions and experiences, we gain insight into whether our daily choices align with our values and long-term goals. This clarity allows us to consciously design our days in a way that reflects our highest priorities rather than being swept along by habit, obligation, or external pressures. Even small adjustments, such as focusing on meaningful connections, personal development, or purposeful work, can compound over time, producing a profound shift in life trajectory. The habit of self-reflection also strengthens gratitude and perspective. When we pause to consider the lessons embedded in our experiences, we become aware of progress that may have gone unnoticed. Recognizing small victories, even in challenging circumstances, builds confidence and reinforces a positive outlook. This practice encourages a balanced perspective, where setbacks are seen as temporary and instructive rather than discouraging, and achievements are appreciated rather than taken for granted. Over time, reflection nurtures a mindset of mindful awareness, resilience, and intentionality, providing a solid foundation for both personal and professional growth. Finally, self-reflection fosters a deeper connection with one's purpose. By regularly examining our values, actions, and intentions, we cultivate a sense of direction and meaning in life. It allows us to live deliberately, with choices aligned to who we aspire to be, rather than who circumstances dictate we should be. This habit is not about perfection or rigid self-critique. It is about nurturing self-awareness, growth, and alignment. Each moment spent in reflection becomes an investment in a more intentional, empowered, and fulfilled life, creating a subtle yet profound transformation that accumulates with time, shaping character, mindset, and ultimately destiny. Consistency is often overlooked in a world that glorifies sudden breakthroughs and dramatic transformations. Yet, it is the quiet, persistent practice of showing up that ultimately shapes success and fulfillment. Consistency is not about making massive changes overnight or achieving perfection in every endeavor. It is about maintaining deliberate, repeated actions, no matter how small, and trusting that their cumulative effect will create meaningful results. The human mind is wired to notice patterns, and when we consistently engage in positive behaviors, these actions gradually become embedded in our identity. Over time, what once required effort becomes natural, and the outcomes of our dedication compound in ways that are often invisible at first, but profoundly transformative in the long run. The power of consistency lies in its ability to bridge the gap between intention and achievement. Many of us have ambitious goals, yet we struggle to convert those intentions into tangible results. The problem is rarely a lack of skill or talent. It is often a lack of disciplined repetition. When small, purposeful actions are repeated day after day, they generate momentum that carries us forward, even when motivation wavers. This principle applies to all areas of life, from physical fitness and learning new skills to personal relationships and emotional growth. Each repeated effort strengthens neural pathways, builds resilience, and reinforces the belief that progress is possible, transforming ordinary routines into extraordinary outcomes. Consistency also cultivates credibility and trust, both with oneself and with others. When we show up reliably, even in small ways, we reinforce a sense of accountability and integrity. The commitment to follow through on our actions demonstrates self-respect and instills confidence in our capabilities. Over time, this reliability becomes a defining aspect of character, shaping the way others perceive us and enhancing the quality of our relationships, whether in professional environments or personal endeavors. Consistent effort distinguishes those who achieve their goals from those who merely dream about them. It is the persistent, disciplined application of effort that produces mastery, competence, and long-term success. Another critical aspect of consistency is that it reduces the burden of decision-making. When we develop routines and habits rooted in repeated actions, our energy is preserved for higher-level thinking and creativity. Habits serve as frameworks that guide behavior, allowing us to navigate life with greater efficiency and intentionality. This predictability fosters confidence, minimizes procrastination, and cultivates discipline. The very act of showing up consistently, even when the conditions are not perfect, reinforces the mindset that action is more important than waiting for ideal circumstances. By committing to consistency, we build resilience and adaptability, learning to persevere through challenges, setbacks, and distractions without losing sight of long-term objectives. Consistency also amplifies the psychological impact of small wins. Each repeated effort produces a measurable result, no matter how modest, and this accumulation generates a sense of progress that fuels motivation. It allows us to celebrate incremental achievements rather than waiting for monumental outcomes, which can often feel distant and discouraging. Over time, these small victories compound into significant milestones, creating a tangible narrative of growth and accomplishment. This principle underscores the importance of patience and discipline, teaching us that meaningful transformation is rarely instantaneous, but is instead the product of steady, deliberate effort applied consistently over time. Finally, consistency fosters a deep sense of mastery and confidence. When we repeatedly engage in purposeful action, we internalize skills, develop mental fortitude, and strengthen our ability to navigate challenges with composure. This habit of disciplined repetition becomes a cornerstone for both personal and professional development, transforming ordinary actions into a foundation for extraordinary outcomes. Consistency is not merely a practice, it is a mindset, a commitment to showing up for oneself and one's goals day after day, trusting that the accumulation of small, intentional actions will ultimately produce profound, lasting results. Change is often romanticized as a sudden, dramatic event, yet the reality is that meaningful transformation is rarely instantaneous. True change is a process. And within that process, consistency plays a more powerful role than intensity. Many people believe that achieving extraordinary results requires extreme effort, long hours, or grand gestures. But the truth is that steady, deliberate action often outperforms bursts of enthusiasm. When we focus solely on intensity without sustaining it, progress is fleeting, motivation wanes, and burnout becomes inevitable. By contrast, small, consistent steps, repeated with discipline, create a foundation for sustainable growth that withstands the pressures and distractions of everyday life. The value of consistency over intensity lies in its reliability. The human brain thrives on patterns, and repeated actions, no matter how modest, gradually reshape behavior and reinforce habits. 1 hour of practice today and 1 hour tomorrow are more impactful than sporadic sessions of frantic effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. This principle applies to personal development, professional success, fitness, learning, and emotional growth. For instance, dedicating 20 minutes a day to reading, meditation, or skill development compounds over time, producing results that are far more substantial than occasional high-intensity bursts of activity. Over weeks and months, these small investments of effort accumulate into mastery, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment that cannot be rushed or forced. Consistency also nurtures resilience and mental toughness. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances rarely align perfectly with our plans. When progress is built on extreme intensity alone, setbacks can feel devastating and derail motivation. When progress is built on steady, repeated effort, setbacks become temporary obstacles rather than insurmountable barriers. The discipline of showing up day after day instills perseverance, patience, and adaptability. It creates a mindset that values progress over perfection and recognizes that effort, repeated over time, produces reliable results even when immediate outcomes are not visible. Another important aspect of prioritizing consistency is that it strengthens self-trust. Each time we follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, we reinforce the belief that we are capable of taking meaningful action. This self-trust is critical because it forms the foundation of confidence, discipline, and the ability to tackle challenges without hesitation. When consistent action becomes habitual, it reduces reliance on fleeting motivation or external validation, empowering us to rely on our own internal standards of accountability and growth. The act of showing up, even in small ways, gradually transforms perception of what is possible, expanding the boundaries of achievement and potential. Consistency over intensity also encourages a sustainable approach to change. Extreme efforts, especially when unbalanced or excessive, often lead to exhaustion, mistakes, and even self-sabotage. By embracing consistent action, we maintain a rhythm that supports long-term health, well-being, and productivity. This approach allows for continuous learning, adaptation, and refinement, rather than a cycle of peaks and crashes. Small, repeated actions become a reliable source of momentum, reducing stress and increasing confidence that progress is achievable and lasting. Finally, the principle of consistency over intensity reinforces the importance of patience. Real growth, whether in skill, mindset, or personal development, requires time. It is through repeated, focused effort performed with discipline and intention that meaningful change is realized. Every small step builds upon the last, forming a chain of progress that is resilient to challenges and capable of producing extraordinary outcomes. This approach transforms ordinary routines into a structured, powerful pathway toward lasting success and fulfillment. The most crucial element in any journey of transformation is the understanding that change starts today, in this very moment, with the choices we make right now. Too often, people wait for the perfect time, imagining that a new week, month, or year will provide the ideal conditions for transformation. Yet life rarely offers perfect timing. Circumstances, resources, and energy levels fluctuate constantly, and waiting for a flawless moment often leads to indefinite postponement. The real power lies in taking immediate action, no matter how small, because the present is the only time we truly control. Each decision, each step, and each action taken today compounds into the foundation for future success, making the present the most valuable currency in shaping our destiny. Starting today requires courage and self-belief. It demands that we recognize the power we have in the present moment and refuse to surrender it to excuses, procrastination, or fear. Every positive choice, no matter how modest, signals to our mind and spirit that we are capable of growth and change. It establishes a sense of agency that builds momentum, because once we take action, even in small ways, it becomes easier to continue. This principle applies universally, whether one seeks to improve health, relationships, skills, or personal mindset. By choosing to act now, we break the cycle of delay and uncertainty, demonstrating to ourselves that we are not powerless observers of life, but active participants in creating it. Immediate action also strengthens focus and intention. When we commit to starting today, we anchor ourselves in purpose, clarifying what matters and prioritizing steps that align with our goals. Delaying action often creates mental clutter and indecision, which can foster stress, anxiety, and feelings of helplessness. By taking deliberate steps in the present, we transform uncertainty into clarity, anxiety into confidence, and aspiration into progress. Each decision made today reinforces a mindset of intentionality, signaling to the brain that we are ready to pursue meaningful change and commit to the actions required to achieve it. The principle of starting today also fosters resilience and adaptability. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. By initiating action now, we practice responding proactively rather than reacting passively to circumstances. This habit develops problem-solving skills, patience, and flexibility, because we learn to navigate obstacles as they arise rather than waiting for ideal conditions. Taking action today teaches us that progress is not contingent upon external perfection, but upon our willingness to show up, persevere, and remain committed, regardless of the surrounding environment. Moreover, beginning today creates momentum. One small action sparks another, and the energy generated from immediate effort builds a chain reaction of positive behaviors. A single decision to start reading, exercising, meditating, or engaging in self-reflection can set off a sequence of habits that transform our day, our week, and ultimately our life. This momentum is powerful because it shifts the focus from the daunting scale of change to the manageable, tangible steps within our control. Over time, the accumulation of these small but deliberate actions creates profound transformation, often surpassing what could have been achieved through delayed or sporadic efforts. Choosing to act today also reinforces self-confidence and personal accountability. Each step taken reinforces the understanding that we are capable of shaping our own lives. It shifts the narrative from waiting for opportunity to creating it, from relying on external circumstances to cultivating internal strength. This habit cultivates a sense of empowerment because every moment we seize contributes to building the life we desire. The present moment becomes a platform for growth, and every decision to act strengthens the belief that meaningful change is always within reach, starting exactly where we are with exactly what we have. Finally, the act of starting today nurtures a mindset of immediacy and purpose. It reminds us that waiting is an illusion, that transformation is initiated through action, and that every meaningful accomplishment begins with the choice to begin. By embracing this habit, we internalize the principle that the future is shaped not by what we plan or hope for, but by what we actively do in the present, moment by moment, choice by choice, action by action. Friends, the magic is not in the length of time, but in the consistency of small, meaningful habits. Gratitude, mindful action, and self-reflection. These three simple habits in just 1 week reshaped my thinking, my energy, and my life. I invite you to try it. Don't wait for a Monday. Don't wait for a new year. Start today. Change is not a far-off dream. It's just one habit away. Thank you. And remember, it only takes 7 days to start a journey that can change your life forever.